A federal judge is not buying the argument that most January 6th insurrectionists have been using, the excuse they've been using to essentially storm the Capitol simply because Trump told them to. This is the defense that you've probably already heard. And I've been curious to see what the reaction would be from federal judges who hear these cases. Because remember, Donald Trump had to deal with his second impeachment. He was unfortunately acquitted in the Senate impeachment trial, but he was impeached in the House for inciting an insurrection. So if he was impeached for that reason, could these defendants, could these rioters use his incitements as their defense? Well, we know that one particular federal judge is not buying it. At a bail hearing for Proud Boy member William Crestman from Kansas, who is accused of storming the Capitol, Chief US District Court Judge Beryl Howell said she was dubious about the legal merit of the effort to shift blame toward the former president and his inflammatory rhetoric about the election. So here's what she said during this case. This purported defense, if recognized, would undermine the rule of law. Then, just like a king or a dictator, the president could dictate what would be legal and what isn't in this country. And that is not how we operate. So she also, gave some examples of how this wouldn't apply in some of the extreme cases, right? So if President Trump ordered or instructed a member of the Proud Boys to go off and murder somebody, and someone went off and did that, it follows that would immunize them from liability for that criminal act. In effect, isn't that what your legal argument is saying? And of course, this was a question that was posed to the lawyers representing William Crestman. And so she's not buying it. I think that it's right to not buy it. And she had some pretty strong words for this Proud Boys member and also Proud Boys as a gang later on in the case, which I'll share with you in just a minute. But John, what do you think?
Yeah, so I sort of get the argument that the judge is making there, but isn't it a little bit less that you're immunized and that's it then, and thus that can't be acceptable because then nobody's responsible? Isn't it more this person like credibly thought that that was what they were being ordered to do by a powerful person? And if you can lay out the case that that powerful person was in fact doing that, doesn't it shift the blame to that person, at least in some part? It doesn't totally absolve you, but doesn't it implicate the other person? I feel like that's a step that the judge isn't engaging with there in that argument.
No, it's a fair point, but at the same time, I mean, it's the feel that I get from her argument here is, so if Trump told you to jump off a bridge, would you jump off a bridge, right? Are you completely, mentally absent that all it takes is for someone to tell you to engage in criminality and you can't think for yourself, you're gonna engage in that criminality yourself? That's the sense that I get from the questions that she's posing to the lawyers representing this Proud Boy. By the way, he's not just one of these rioters who happened to just breach the building and do nothing. I mean, he actually came prepared. This was certainly premeditated. So only someone who thought they had an official endorsement would even attempt such a thing. And a Proud Boy who had been paying attention would very much believe he did. And that's according to the lawyers representing this Proud Boy. That was in their court filing. Now, the defense attorneys also did cite Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell's statement following Trump's impeachment trial that those who besieged the Capitol believed they were acting on the wishes and instructions of their president, right? So they're using all of this as evidence, but again, it's not really working much with the judge, partly because this Proud Boy has been charged with some pretty serious felonies, including conspiracy to interfere with police during civil disorder, conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding, and also threatening police while carrying a dangerous weapon, and that weapon was an axe. And there's quite a bit of evidence showing it. Let's go to this photo. It's a screenshot of one of the videos that's been floating around online. So he's holding the axe in that image. And there's also video of him riling up the crowd before they breached the Capitol. Let's take a quick look at that video. Who's good prisoners? Do you want your house back? it or not, that is not Gavin McInnes. That's actually,
I thought that's who that was.
Like him, but it's not him. Yeah, it's just another Proud Boy who looks almost exactly like him. It's kind of incredible. So, there's quite a bit of evidence showing that he's riling up the crowd and getting ready to breach the building. He's got the axe. He apparently used the axe to intimidate Capitol police officers. And by the way, a judge had ruled that Cressman can go and basically stay at home until his trial comes up. But this particular judge was like, no, I'm not interested in doing that. I think that he is a dangerous person. He cannot be trusted to abide by any condition for release the court might impose instead of pretrial detention. I don't find this case to be a close call at all. And when it comes to the Proud Boys, John, I'm sure you'll appreciate this. This is what she had to say about the group. You call it an organization. I call it a gang. The fact that Cressman continues to be a member of the Proud Boys is danger enough, isn't it?
Yeah, this is just like, I understand generally it seems, I think, pretty easy to reconceptualize some random militia as a gang based on generally the rights of initiation that these sorts of things tend to have, the sort of glorification of violence and stuff like that. But like this is the Proud Boys. It is exactly a gang. I don't understand what the word gang means if it doesn't apply to the Proud Boys. They literally have to run up and beat someone on the street to get in. And then as another part of them getting in, all of the other members beat the crap out of them. It's 100% a gang. The only argument to be made that it's not a gang is, well, gangs don't involve white people. That's it. That is the only one. It's that I reserve the term gangs for non-white groups. And these white people they're doing something else. They're part of a militia. They're part of I don't even know what else you'd call it. It's just a gang, that's all it is. And he's still an active participant in it. And so long as he's free, hypothetically, he might decide that he has to do something. Remember, it's not even like March 4th is the next date that millions of Americans believe Donald Trump is going to reassume the presidency. Like there's still potential flashpoints within the next couple of weeks. Yeah.
John, I'm tired. I'm just so tired. Okay.
You're tired. I'm confused because I just heard from Tucker Carlson that there was no white supremacists and there were no weapons at this thing. So I don't know what to think anymore.
I mean, it's just crazy. But I do want to just quickly compare this case to something else that we had talked about as the case was, developing. Remember, the Posner family had lost their son in the Sandy Hook shooting. And Alex Jones had been spreading all sorts of conspiracy theories about how that mass shooting was just a false flag operation meant to take people's guns away. And then through those episodes of his show, he incited members of his audience to go off and harass the Posner family to the point where they had to move 7 different times to avoid all the threats they were dealing with. Now, of course, Alex Jones is still dealing with that defamation lawsuit, but the individuals who actually acted on what Alex Jones was saying, they were also criminally charged and had to deal with the legal ramifications of what they personally engaged in. So my point is, like, there is a precedent. Even if there's an indication, even if there's proof that there's one person inciting violence, inciting these actions, the people who actually engage in the actions that they were incited to engage in face the legal consequences as well. And I think that's the reasoning that's being used by this federal judge. And I agree with that reasoning. The only difference here is that Trump doesn't seem to have to deal with any of the consequences, whereas the people he incited, the people who did engage in criminal acts, are gonna face the consequences. And maybe that should teach people something.
Yeah.
Maybe don't be conned by a con man.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.